Assemble and a young more eastern region of Umpeo ebe happen. TNT American just Dr. Bawumia and Kunim Diano ebe happen by force. The woman in and no point so. Yakwada sorry ya. We are no more eastern region. All the MPs or more eastern region are more parliament kasa. And so about one thing so more assembly there they be candidate MP before. Jemmy Yepa. Mankese kwa hwea kwa fuobi no. Me see the sitting MPs are free eastern region. Miya was on asama ni memo akwa papa. Also the assembly there they be able to abontain. Assembly and a young more eastern region or more can. Asema eastern region for Kenya very very simple. The omo can say omo atena se ahwemu ye. Amanfo omo pese omo mra medi party nanim. Amanfo omo abokrado so omo pese omo mesum party no as flag bearer. But omo hwemu no. Enipa ba ko a omo no omo dwene se ono na se fata se obetu party ne franka ama 2028. Akona eda yanim no. Nkunindie abeye party ni de no. Omo se omo hwe a obia ni ho. Tise yewura Alhaji Mahamadu Bawumia. Enti yankone konkotie sa video no. Yefiri ho ansem bebre wo ho. Bra acheampong so Dr. Bawumia force no. Amana sha ase e kansem. Ebebo so video no so na nsem bi so obedi a kire okasa wie ye nsem bi ma yate no wamframam eno so yakasa fa na eni kanko enkote the eastern region sitting MPs. The eastern region sitting MPs. Almost woman sema omo eka yeba na yatoa so.
Party members firm in their resolve to support his candidate. They can say, MPs Eastern region. 23. Out of 23, we move 15 MPs and a tie Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. Na nieti a yetan na chini say yehuni say ono ni obi a MPP yetumi aton ama Ghana for all these years. Wabaye second to the president and I say Wabaye vice president. Wabaye running mate 3 times. I am vice president 2 times. Enti yeka omo a omo ni brain man. Obi eni wa ye ka say amanyosem obi a obetumi e de party na ko power na wotumi ebu o mani ya omu bie eni wa oni no ese the dam say ti yen 15 ye war MPP sorry ye war Eastern region ye 23 e mu 15 ye na ya ke ho bom say ye tie Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia na wakon to frank ano waji tumi no e dia ma MPP 2028 and now say yes say bia wa shia bia wa bia o me ke ongo if say Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia and MPP sisi a ye de ko abatwa e betumi awi ni abatwa no ye nya presidency ye da mase nyamishamu
Enti se wutie asema MPs we ade abeto abontan very simple. Omo ye MPs mako 23 and omo wo Eastern region. Na sa 23 na omo wo ho na omo wo parliament no. Emu mako 15 abegina abontan abi omo anu makase. Omo de papa na ye friend Dr. Alhaji Muhammad Bawumia no. Ono and omo ndede nam. Na ye bisam say adenti a mo se Dr. Bawumia and amone nama. Asema omo kan ye ne se omo dwene ehu se Dr. Bawumia na ye nipa bi ene se eba ne se ye kwa akoto aba na MPP fu epenkunimdie pa ye ntumi ntwa ye ho emfri Dr. Bawumia ho nkofa nipa fufuro bi because doctor ne ye nipa bi a ya ton wo man Ghana num for the past 16 years obi akora bi otigana bi a enim who is Dr. Bawumia. And a second enyuma ne ho modra wapo nimdia odia ye nyuma hodo obi ama man no obi anya so mfaso ntino doctor is the more credible candidate obetumi ede tumi kese no abra MP4 enti MP4 na ka say 23 15 out of 23 aka sen aka 8 no mo aka no other 4 candidates ebenya omo share wom tiebe pa say omo 23 candidates and a 15 I choose one particular candidate enti aka 8 ena wo ho 8 no mo aka no 8 divided by 4 mathematically 2 but coincidentally obi betumi anya 3 obi betumi anya 1 obi betumi anya hwe e wo sa eastern region ho na abusia yesu nsuo na ohya ase na ohwe a ohya ase anopa e make sign kyerɛw kase wanya nimde ani nyansa hu sɛ dabi nsuo we sign we a oyɛ obegu manim ase na ugusu di akyire ekɔ wanim a akyire no na yɛ nimguase ekura Dr. Alhaji Muhammad Bawumia no God sent enti the potential ni knowledge na Nyankopɔn de ahyɛ ne mu no ba bi obewura bia na okiki ho na wase ho na amanfo ho pepom na pressure papa ni wura oni watemmo nka hwe oba no abeton ne ho de akyerɛ wo ofiri ho pɛ na pressure amanfo omo campaign ni to nsuo mu kakra na eba ni say na omo hu de omo nka na pressure na shiki omo a last 2023 omo say Akufo-Addo and they push Bawumia de amanfo ai yes Akufo-Addo the government machinery air force treaty MPs ni ministers ni CEOs say amonto abamfama Dr. Bawumia yabusia enne de amene ukase ya Akufo-Addo tinifio tom onye president biem onye the leader of the party biem ye wo general secretary wo ho ena ye wo chairman wo ho national chairman enti sese no national chairman and national secretary and na sabi omo impose Dr. Bawumia on the MPs na kwambi so no omo wotumi ewo aban no mu no ana question no we your question imano at the comment session boss wo mama tiemi ye pa enne Nana Dan Akufo-Addo on tie akonwa so biem okọ Nyankopɔn ede ne kɔ fie kama onye president last 2023 yes Nana do na de pressure push MPs MCE for DCE for ministers any CEO for say omunya adwuma mfama Dr. Bawumia but na me no kasa busu entin sabiem yewra Dr. Bawumia nko a enenam obi anya obi a se de papa bi okaye Kennedy Japan kaye entine the entire say the big men in the party are all running towards Dr. Bawumia ekira wo say eyade bi anipa mpanyimfo no bi ahu ne mu ahu no woni mu eno nti omugina so de to aba na enye pressure bi ena na obi ede ma obi se onkoto aba mfa Dr. Bawumia and that led from the eastern region the AC say 23 MPs out of 23 MPs 15 out of the 23 almost they are for Dr. Bawumia ebi ne kwojo ponkroma nom ne mpemfo omo aka enya fei na mbabubo omudini they are all for Dr. Bawumia. Remember this, there be a mechanism be said. So who call in the hierarchies of a political party? MP no wo constituency hono. Ono na ye the top hierarchy of the constituency. As it say, a constituency chairman, police station agent, why na omonso no omo ye directly connected to the delegates na omonso na nkura post bi no. They are all feeding from the MP. And normally, in a good substantive contest, abro be anyes na you say audio be abro. The MP nebekano automatically connected with the rules. And it's a 23, name 15 so more for Dr. Bawumia. Automatically, fact to team say the eastern region as it stands, they are all in support of Yura Alhaji Muhammadu Bawumia. Fatu team na yenko yanim. That is what. Yes, Mama said the leaders have seen what he can do to win power. Yes, very correct. It takes only nipa bi on person better than who say and obe challenge this, because the reality is this. Or no, any bit me aji to me no dia maye. Yen to aso na yen ko yen na nsem no bi edo so wo ha. Aja ye wura ba omia ekogina ba bi enche bi aka kire MPP yen kan say aspirant for the flag bearership and say mama yenye constructive campaign obianka na adwene obianka de obeye obianka ideas ye da ne tim abusia bra champorti asem mo ko di America okohia osi ono nso no ordinary ideas no aye bibi he wodi wa ideas aye bibi na waye bra champon ko bie na no a ye nyina enim sagan na manya ye wo mi ye dokoko pa abanya omo abakọ ne abanya omo abatwem de omo ye ne se omo kwaji bosia every bank enti omo kwaji bosia ne free bank a na omo de abeto koko na aboa no ansa na omo akọ akoton agi hu sika every factory say wo Switzerland, England, any other countries omo produce chocolate na de ewo ma na e ha adwere ne se wo kwaji sa loan no free bank na bank no loan ye mfa amount free ye the interest to home. Enti de na kwa ne se Ghana ban kwanya obefa so obetumi nye sika de ato koko na free kuafo no no age so opoka wo ho otua sika eto bosia na okwa akwaje ne so nti eba ne sa obeto akwa akoton aba na beduru ba bi na ne nsa si fom na ontumi nya mfa so bi am free so nti age se ye sign kofa to na ye tua ne bi e de kokro su sa gab na da ho no na wei na bra champon say ya mo yensam man because ono bra champon ai ba omia o me mo wadwino ye ka ye say papa na friend Dr. Bawumia no he will make sure that the yankopon the chair wo no wo di baba bonten na wo di aye bibia ma wo temi ye pa sa papa na friend Dr. Bawumia no woni ne na ma obemo wa hya ase adwene you will start thinking bra champon hya ase no to punch ena me osika ena me na me finance ye ena Dr. Bawumia si dabi enye saa na ye internal campaign kan de obetumi aye na ma amanfo nyina so nkoto abama abusia bra champo se de na tu no de na ba ni timo papa ikogina abontena osi the syndication law no se syndicative o syndication ono na kofa baaye hey ai osi Dr. Bawumia si onka na ideas yo de nam papa ni bie na no a osi syndicated law no ono ene kof eye den ede nhihye ba ya yetwa mu because awon beti a da bia me kan san na me ntumi nkan bra me nkan DC fo ho asem because omo ye nkurasefo ma me nkyere wa de last year bra na nado ana so ye say this year ye nkonkwaje bosi mfira brotire mfa metokoko na mbom no we will generate money by ourselves said be ya koko no ye to wi a ye benya so mfaso and this for the babonte be ye campaign say amansan edwafo na empese ombebo Ghana for bosia bepinim de na ekọ MPP communication was not able to explain to Ghanaians say dabi ye yi ehun afiri nkwaso mu me ma me da na apia me akọ aba MPP communication omo ntumi ankama ya nyante ase se eye nkwaso mom na Ghana for MPP fo yi ya firi dabi eka ye party open information ye mfa ma ho. Enti NDC for the Bayer campaign say Ghana perform to the point to say omo pebosia kura to koko. But obia ni obeso omo bosia. Enti Ghana ban na nado danko Akufo-Addo aban ambo ne homodene. E na omo ka edi twim ekoye. But the reality na wo ho ne say saa de na e course no na ye kwanya na aban na afaso yi Ghana afiri nkwaso mu. Say ya do ye koko na ye koton na ye kwa akoton no enam se ye ni sikeda ho ntino ye kwaje bosia obabi ema ye di sabio taxi aton ye di nsi ho aka ho best 10%. Into kwaji 20 million. Yebe we no. Now also on fa best 10 million. Enka ho. Nessa we da bia na sika no sign kwa abrofo no ho. Away and a acheampong ne kasa mu ose Ghana foi. Pa o mi asemenka my dears. Osi ono asi hotels. Me mama dollars. Me mo akwaba. Osi hotels. Ghost name on government payroll so ono ene ba ya otimi yi free ho within the system. On sen ko community o say sa bosia na ne ko gifira manone no ono bra acheampong ene tumi trans nya ntotoye hihye ntotoye e ma ene omo amotokoko no free ono mu di kind of one kasa o musika breyen 4-5 months before ansana koko season no e be shasia ashasia no say asa okay. So what kamate na papa ikasa wie ya nche bia and then the CEO of Ghana Cocoa Board nso aba abonte say Byran udi ntro wasam na wo kano ento aso mu twa ntro enkontompo na wo twai abusia mesro so de yenko ne nkonkotie bra acheampong na sem okaye and the CEO of Ghana Cocoa Board nso asema ode abetudwa Baumia will force you to think as a human being. Yenti bra acheampong ye wi ani eti asema ko Ghana Cocoa Board CEO no former CEO nso ababeka Francis Amofa Mr. Wa try to be respectful why mashara na mayi mani se minya hu mahu pa mame da na mechiaw mame amasi gradually Ghana politics is changing from tribalism. If not, how can people of Eastern region choose Baumia over Byran, who is from there? Mame, politics is not it's not supposed to be tribalistic, religious, or whatever. It is about who can do. Who can do. Yanto aso na yenti nsema brand digu abonten. And nsema the former CEO of Ghana Cocoa Board nso de aba. Achese Byran. Dr. Sis kasa na su enyansa enchese bedi intro. Yenti video na emna sisia.
Talk about ideas. Ideas. The biggest hotel in Africa is my idea. The longest run airport, the airport with the longest runway in the world is my idea. I solved big problems that this country confronted. Ghost names. Removed over 50,000 people from the payroll through my software. That was my idea. All the companies that I run, functioning, employed, over 1,000 people around this environment, in this community, the growth pool that I've established here, those are ideas translated into action. Those who are competing with me, go to their communities and find out how their ideas have translated into action. But it's simple. Or, if you remember, 2 weeks ago, Kudakos station, multimedia, they put out that government or Cocoa Board has received $4 billion in deposits. Did you see that? Do you know who caused it? Byran, you are looking at me. When I went to the Ministry of Agriculture, Cocoa Board, I supervised it, they told me that since 1947, we have always gone for syndication. We go for $2 billion and it's a big deal. Cocoa Sikanaba. And I'm ready. Underneath that $2 billion that we have gotten is the 10% interest that we are paying. 5%, 6%, 10% interest. So you get $2 billion and you are paying $200 million in interest. So I went in there, I said, we have our cocoa. You want to buy our cocoa, but I have to go and take a loan and pay 10% interest and come and buy the cocoa and supply you. And when I have supplied you, you pay the money to the bank that I went for the loan for. That is a bank for us. I'm going to cancel syndication. It was a big deal. I remember very well in cabinet, everybody thought I was on something very strong. I said it doesn't inure to the benefit of this country. These are the numbers. Everybody was against me. President Akufo-Addo took a chance on my decision and said I will support this. For the first time, 2024, we did not do syndication. Anyway, the strategy was simple. If you want Ghana cocoa, bring your money. You, the buyer, bring your money to us. We will go and buy the cocoa and supply to you. I'm not going to take a loan and go and buy the cocoa, come and supply to you and go and pay interest. Simple common sense, core business calculation. And that is how come I took the bold decision to cancel syndication. And nobody is talking about it. These are ideas translated into bold action that is saving the country a lot of money. And today, the cocoa buyers are bringing their money, depositing, and we are even getting interest on the money. That's the difference. That's the kind of things that I do.
Okay, in Tiabusian for some way na acheampong beka na bonten. To me, it is a good deal. That is how we're supposed to run the nation. And you can say, baby, cheap at the mabrofo. Say the kuja tabra kwa akwaji deportees Ghana would not argue just to accept them because he's afraid. And the same acheampong can me, I would say, oh, the man has done a very great job. I really appreciate what he has done. I mean, cancer, acheampong in Japan, I don't hate any of them all. But be a yedruno, here, Dr. Baumia saw me fire and me uncle to me. He is the one who can bring the 2 me to the party, and nobody have to discuss distance. But what has happened, they say, Sana Papa we didn't throw the chair. And you know, he was just a Greek minister, and he was Ghana Cocoa Board director. I don't know, and I shall say, did that initiative number, yeah, man, ye, am I ne? A man for do musica frebru chebe to ho ema Ghana se monje mukoko ni ready a ye to 30 kilos 70 kilos 80 kilos 1 ton 20 ton mon family ye sanye brand ye na mom na ye the Ghana Cocoa Board director bra na dan Akufo-Addo tie konwa so ono na no ye obia no he Ghana Cocoa Board so enti the tennis acheampong wadi ntro Mr. D. Memoakwabapa. But acheampong what intro, asanso the Yura Dr. Baumia. Sorry, Yanura Nanado Danko Akufo-Addo thing, Abefra won't throw. That does not make sense. A lie. But the American Kana Wunti and Yakwakuti Asema. The Ghana Cocoa Board director no can ye, FA syndicative loan, no one say. And he said, dear woman ye. Acheampong, he has nothing bad as a person, or a very vibrant person. Now, Mom Dr. Baumia catch and say, oh, yeah, some funky cat to say, Bia, may I was sponsored, I know scam one. We are doing a decent campaign. Sell your ideas and let the people vote for you based on your ideas. Abusia. Brian said, "Okay, an idea. I couldn't throw at the good another Danko Akufo-Addo say cabinet meeting. Another Danko Akufo-Addo Tiasia man say, "Yen syndicative loan when I am young Kojabro from Sikamegu ya council and Sana. A shall say a toko qua, a toya comao. Abusia video no near, my community, I watch my Mr. K by the Bamichel Yepa. As a country. You have your right to choose whom you want to follow. And me too, I have my right to choose whom I want to follow. Me, I'm for Dr. Baumia. And no one can change me. I don't have a reason to say I'm not for Dr. Baumia. But I have a reason to say I'm not for acheampong, I'm not for Kennedy Japan, I'm not for Yawadu Trim, and I'm not for Kwabena Japan. Even though none of them, apart from Unipa Kennedy Japan, our no the oye atrocity kakalakapa. And Kafono Mwakany almost se fata, Omuni Mukasa Wunyansa, many of them, Kwabena Japan or you super. Kwabena Japan as a character of a man or you super. Yawadu trim or you super. Forget about in some more kind of this time because of Akunyo Mope. But we monipa in the Japan or me or you business role model. But for the presidency's sake and the massa, you can hate me, I don't care. And in tell me page number be your hermano, a friend Canada Japan Junior. I'm in church on same. We are seeing a buyer, Yankopon Emo Pia the Shebre. Into the Yankopon the amount, so one more near and so sometimes you lost everything. Yankopon the business opportunity, I'm making it the unconcentrated. Amamu enye mato abeton ideas and knowledge. Yamfa ba omi yankone nkoji 2 minutes family. Abusianfo yankoso. Abusianfo yankoso na yankotie kwanya. The former director of Ghana Cocoa Board and Sema Okaye edifa bra acheampong. Say, but acheampong, intellectual tifri. Because you see, intellectuals no or tre asema or tre sentence now of fabricatia a intellectual property. And according to him, some bra acheampong can say no to him no. But acheampong is just stealing. Then couldn't conquer ba na atwaso.
Ye bomodia se Ghana ebetwe ne ho afri saa ade e frɛ no bosia ye kɔgye amama so dia bebo akotokuku na afi saa kana be hyensen ekom ti na ye penhyehyɛ ye bia ye betimi aboa ama saa e haun afri ye so megidi se o kai saa na montuo no
asa na montuo no ye mia kasa ana me de bai ana montia me hu se ebeboa Cocoa Board na ebeboa Ghana mano nti me ankasa ana mde bae ana me anso na me ye ho announcement so mo graphic I think say 22nd August 2024 we say me da front page ana sa announcement na bae me ye no announcement no I think it was Monday in a Tuesday thereabouts, and a graphic published here.
I see. So now a bit confused here because the presidential hopeful for your party, taking over the reins of that ministry, a great ministry, no, talks about akukudra unyaya oma Ghana time train home a free a year sa syndicated loan in Shishane no. Eba bra ebit megina yankasa ye ho na etimdia boy ho bra in terms of isikasemu no it is saying
my year rebuttal to that ordinary no chamin kan wansen na momo no adwen kase na abetu ga no efimi ankasa me ho anam de bai in this obi babon no be kan say achi wonu mum na dia ba na wa mum di o mo kra won say so obi a Ghana ko nyina mu say me so no me ye intellectual na me study university won ti say opomodna na de adwukase bi ba na obi kokofa sa adwen no one make any reference to you ne mum no wo ye study onu ankasa na di adwukase ne ba ya Yamian academically no and intellectually in no intellectual a year I say bono to be one day now kosa wabra woman manye on count sanity
na wadaroma what describing as intellectual theft one play any role Ebra said Timpowe ebeto ho wan fansusu bi ama wan ka se yenchi ha kakra bi ntumi ne se aha no ye de so de o kan so a ebeboa enye that collective responsibility na end up ma say no nyam we ba Ghana ye side
Debbie. Ono rather no pussy. Eno na ma ade no ayemia no. Che say e baye no me ne na me hwe ne say we chief executive ana ade ba fa ya na nse manfo we finish me my minister pen. The president for 4 term na me Western Regional Minister. Minister me di pen. Na we chief executive la we share sector ministers. Nti se we bibia wono na ese odidua nso na ko cabinet we die che se enya ade a ade no kwa no edu na anim no na oye interested and edu baby no nye se onye interested keke obogui no mpeneso nti no have to fact it
strange kakra because on peninsula de no koje sa abasobodie no
eno ne ase ende je se ono ana minim de but impanyimfo a nim asem pa de members mabodi impanyimfo pa impanyimfo atitire pa nim no obi menye se obi ana menka se obi mpo mekasa impanyimfo pa a esa asem duru o manim no even o manim kra no o se still on prinso nti no eno na ama aye meyam because adia na wo prinso na just na percent wuku no afidi ade na ba be yi a na the whole thing is say you know modern enye as simple as that ana metema me wie no o contact department of economics, the economic department, Legon, head of department, Professor Ban Boati, any professor Diam Kushia Oma. Mekacha on said no menye panansida me geographer and one kwane omwa say how can a geographer come out with this financial model? They didn't believe them, so one problem geography department Legon Nkobisa me geographer but idea no I say a banwa like a vision on the great ideas in a buy in the form of a vision. And some say, be our scientists are now, so we a back no to move grapona, my ejma. Not then a very complex. A very complex. O mamma quacochi match or mono, any presentation, no. And yet, as simple as said, I have a mocano. Since I decided, I say, even Coco Bob won't count myself near the. But a very complex. Design what we are doing now. This or my a lot of stakeholders have Ghana. My presentation apart from board any a bam paying for Bilma or model no. Very complex. Until we catch on idea no into me hope. I do much of the or the better. But no one can so. I said, dear, my person on me and I'm catch on. I didn't buy the Yeduma. Now, a bad bois, Massidi no Edna. A bois, and Massidi no. You don't have rat up a me in that time in a womb. And now, campaign no more. A free bed of October, November no. Baby, I'm a quay be a near Quafushi, be a mecan once. The media for the back, I mecan once say. Savings in quite being from this model, no, because Okobobo say a year interest. No interest, I do 10%. And some interest, I do 8%. And some commitment fee, Ubetia. Ama syndication lenders, no. Arrangement fee. Even legal fee, okay, can you now boom? Any a country as or coverage, the company, I don't can boom one. About 10% of the loan now, Koji. There's a Okaji loan there 4 billion. Not 10%. Unko chia 10% on $4 billion. So There's a country that saved $400 million 1 year.
Okay, so Ere, remember also, but I want to be very sure what I'm reading here, that all these things here, no matter what I say, wadarma making kind of has Abia Nebuana, the body, try Trono, Quambi or say, according to Edu, far from being the architect of the reform, Dr. Byran acheampong was its fiercest opponent. He allegedly resisted the proposal uncompromisingly when it came before the economic management team. He reportedly blocked its cabinet presentation, only later to smuggle in there Nicodemously and claim ownership. Edu further claimed it took the direct intervention of President Akufo-Addo to prevent Dr. acheampong from killing the policy altogether. He was the sole dissenting voice when the matter was discussed. For him now to pretend as though he championed it is pure dishonesty. Is that the case?
Is
that the case?
Now me say, enforce asempa 8 year.
Wadaroma, minute bako mesa ba ho jina ahomano sumame. Dr. Byran acheampong.
Entimi wi anome Ghana for enyame na me kan bia ka ho enyame na me kan bia firim bra acheampong agu na nima ase ni nyina ne se Dr. Bawumia force no se onka de obetumi ayama Ghana mai enti afi onam na wo wi anema. Look at how disgraceful this is. Say ade aye de ba wan kasa usodi gina ye kuti aye ene wa sore aba say wona wo de ba aye enti enyanim guase ade ye de ba yi wow you can't the greedy people and nipa beno monte ase utimi wo say the minister of agriculture kono okokoji loan na ne share wom enti papa wedi adwene ba say ni kwanse ekoji loan na mom ne yema aboroforo fo musika ma no but acheampong feri say dabi papa yi eyi na no aduane. So he fought against the policy. Papa na eke I'm just repeating. But ene but acheampong say ema ensa enhia no adentia or the policy biaba e de kohwe mu nso a ayentro tobo ena miwi apanyi samono kuno eka no miwi amwakọ abo say Dr. Bawumia is selling his ideas and those with empty-headed are attacking him. What a shame. Yankopon ofane bo onto ntem na de Yankopon hira no tamfu ntumi nse no enti upagya omusa de Yankopon hira no wo beka no ahye forma God will deal with you. Ono Yankopon no besori atia wo enye nipa na wo kutia na besori atia wo. In fact, doctor is not doing nothing against these people, but assembly obia beka enye no kure ne nto aso mu bia no other people rise up and defend Dr. Alhaji Muhammad Bawumia. Abra o misasa obi defend no. This is to tell you say the Yankopon hira no otamfo entumi nse no. Bra acheampong wani magu ase oto. Wadi ntro watwa nkontompo ama ene. Sabio diana osine mbo mokwakuo no abuabo. Abusanfo yemfa Byran acheampong na asemunsia na yentie darega dramani mahama ne ho asem ketewa bi wo ha na yemfa bibia amra na wieye ena abusuan memfa call mi wieye ya na atum because I have something to do somewhere. Yentie mokai COVID video measure by your video we me di twam keke me di twam. I will just come one day and sit down and do a very correct video about this. But yentie mahama.
And to change the mindset of dependence on external parties. Data from the Economic Commission of Africa, ECA, shows that COVID-19 created the continent's worst recession in 50 years, with real GDP shrinking by 3% averagely by 3% in 2020. Before the pandemic, poverty reduction was already a major challenge. The pandemic is estimated to have dragged about 55 million more people into poverty in Africa and exposed another 46 million more to the risk of hunger and malnourishment. Indeed, 70% of hunger in Africa, which had already been on the rise since 2014, is directly attributable to this pandemic. Like governments all over the world, it became necessary for African governments to take action to shield their populations from the effects of the epidemic. In my country, Ghana, our economy has emerged in extremely poor shape from the COVID experience. A ballooning deficit, double-digit inflation, a nosediving currency, increasing debt distress are some of the symptoms of a very ill economy. This has devastated many African economies and sunk them deeper into unsustainable debt and economic downturn. The pandemic has had a generally deleterious effect on the economy of African nations. The effects of the COVID-19 pandemic, and one, find new ways to bring value chains inside Africa's borders, and two, change the mindset of dependence on external parties. Data from the Economic Commission of Africa, ECA, shows that COVID-19 created the continent's worst recession in 50 years, with real GDP shrinking by 3% averagely by 3% in 2020. Before the pandemic, poverty reduction was already a major challenge. The pandemic is estimated to have dragged about 55 million more people into poverty in Africa and exposed another 46 million more to the risk of hunger.
Abusianfo, yesi kwakwana nsese ono ena nyansa nyina ewo ne tim. Enti ochichiri wiase nyansa nyina e de afurudua akwa akoto edua so. Okono nyansa no ochichiri gu bottom no o de sinsen na nim se o de sen na chi a obi beto den obi ebetumi ate nyansa no bi de akonto de sinsen na nim e na ofurudua. Wantimi amfurudua no adenti esese oma wani te dodo a oma amponche ana odwan achi. Wọ́n sẹ́ ne John Daliga Dramani Mahama oma odwan achi ewo wiase amansan nyina yanim. Tiemiye John Daliga Dramani Mahama ene washa ase a oma enwan a ewo wiase amansan nyina achi ewo wiase amansan nyina screamer yewe social media. John Dariga onu tumi kwa ne nam Ghana e kan kire Ghana for se akufo ado ne nkorofo ya akromfo mo no mo ase Ghana economy na Jimmy for na bo agisu ye Mr. President papa no to pray ofuru pray na across the border of Ghana na wa shase na o kan no kore minya bema asema John Dariga kan nyina ne se COVID no ni impact no COVID na ho nsunsanso no ewo wiase sabi obribre mu emanya ahodo mu no ene se esei yesikasem minhu se me nsinka ne devastating no emu edrese ne se asei destroy any devastating e two different enti John Dariga Dramani Mahama me kachem so obusa Ghana fo ye mo a aya Ghana fo bi no mo ntemase Tiemiye pa. Se me kase John Dariga edwene se o man Ghana ye nkwasiafo a eya na binum dwene se me de me kan ento asum pa. We have several videos and audios. Papa wei antumi anyina Ghana fo anim da anka nkyere Ghana fo se yesi kasem na eye basa from 2020 to 2023 no and I'm COVID. Papa yan to me and Kabida. Anytime that foolish man, contempo nabraba dagraga ndabraba fraud goro man, obenya platform bia. Ose akufo adon ne nkrofo eni mama mu. But ene papa yi akodro nyansafo anim enti ontumi nintro entwa nkontompo emfanto na nado so. Enti ene de enkrofo no no dwene so omuye nyansafo no de o ka no kore kire won no kore be na o ka o se the yade na yefe ne COVID-19 no essay wiase especially abibibrem amanya ahodo yisikasem essay no osi devastating minim twi kasa metumi edi aspire devastating na se mete asie yi eche se etete oman no ene abibrem amanya ahodo yisikasem nyina etete no ye ne koso to John Dariga say COVID etimi ma sabio ekom nipadro ana ekom di omo Africa amaimu ansana COVID ebeba no na omo ye 50 million na ekoduru 150 million na omo ana omo live ohia aprabo no ekwadrepo omo ko be se 300 million. John Dariga dwene se Ghana fo ye moa hey se hey na ne braso. The man has remained with the mindset to say Ghana niba onye serious. Fufuo da ho kan o ka kire say ye no tuntuma obejedi. John Dariga believe say Ghana for no be especially omo to abama no omo agimia to the point to say fufuo da ho na need so say ye fufuo. But to me can asem bi kire no ka kire say ye tuntuma wa agimi nti obeka say ai dia wo kan no kure ye tuntu especially omo to abama no. There is nowhere and never ever any NDC communicator bi gina ba bi e ka kire Ghana for say COVID ne wo impact e wo economy so. The almost ambe kan kire Ghana for say COVID the kura ma Ghana for ye sika for because the global the IMF edisika bra Ghana man. Enti sakofo ado kese COVID e ho nsunsanso ase ye sika ma ye ngine ni. Wọ́n sọ papa na kogu na nim ase e wo nipa dodo anim. Se wo ye Ghana ni na to Obama John Mahama because o say akofo ado asay Ghana economy ene wo wie ye. Se wate ono na numu tom o se COVID ene say Ghana isikasem. Na odi abusian fo medum besi because me breko. Na mpese me nkasem ene me no kasai. NDC for na omubu atopa e wo kwan so omubo se omubo dede no. Ajimifo no nyina ene omo ahya ase omo se Dr. omo se John Mahama onye papa. Trust na amamfo wode ma no omo ahya ase e twe omo ho firi ho. Musa dankwa na akwakoye saa yenka ne se post no ode aba abonten. Nipa na ade omo hwehwe firi Mahama ho no onye ontumi nye. Na de ehye omo kura ne se yese papa na ene osori a na okogina ha o launch program we na okogina ha na launch program we na obegina ha na launch program we bet okọ ground da concretely adwuma no yenye okọ forma o launch program ni wi a na wa ya location na omo anjiska na omo acha di adwuma na omo nye ama amamfo ahya ase they are regretting for voting for John Dariga Dramani Mahama yebegu na nima ase saa nkopim 2028 because na numu nsem ena yebebo e de a kire Ghana for enye yen na yebeka bibi e de ato Dariga so na mom de oka aye ene de oyo no ne ene na de betoto ho e de agu papa no anima ase abusia medin ene Mr. Mafo higher Rush Media GH on YouTube Kennedy Japan Junior on Facebook oba nimatem. We are making rational analysis, any commenting on Ghana politics. Enya temudi oha. Meso se bo modern na like my video no. On subscribe so na subscribe to my channel. Na sabi odo nsansi adoma no so se de be am the video to ma na me ba life wa. Obenya nkai bo sema ba. Na so ne me. Aba be kan abom na ye video e de aye dey. E de support the good will of our country. Makra mu nyina until we meet again, I go say